Hi guys, welcome to 30 and Learning. Today I want to talk about two things that sort of go hand in hand. The first is the difference between weight loss and fat loss and what exactly happens in each, and the next is about different body types. Let's first talk about weight loss. Very simply, weight loss is losing weight. So people who often want to lose weight, they cut calories and or they increase their activity level. What this does is that it creates a deficit in the body, and then more often than not, people start seeing great results initially, and then as time goes by, their returns start diminishing. So, what exactly is this weight that people are losing initially, and then why they can't keep this up? The majority of the weight that people lose initially is the water weight. For every gram of carb that we consume, our body retains about 4 grams of water. So when people cut calories, mostly it's cutting back on carbs and sugars. So obviously this makes the body shed a lot of water weight. So that is the first big portion of the weight that people see themselves lose. Next type of weight that the body loses is muscle mass. Yep. The body loves its fat reserves. So unless the conditions are just right, it will not even touch its fat reserves. So what happens is when you're cutting calories, you're increasing your activity level, the body will start eating muscle for energy. And then it's not long before the body officially declares a state of crisis and says, okay, I'm slowing everything down. And that is when your metabolism crashes and you hit the dreaded plateau. I hear a lot of people say that they can gain weight by simply breathing air. Well, I think it's probably because after years of trying to lose weight the wrong way, their bodies have essentially sabotaged its own metabolism, and it's in a state of perpetual survival mode. So when the body is in survival mode, no matter what you do, you're not going to see results because your body is constantly adapting to the reduced resources that are available to it. That brings me to the topic of fat loss. Now, fat loss is also a type of weight loss, just that the weight that you're trying to lose is made up of fat and not the muscle. Now, broadly speaking, I think that's what everyone wants, is to lose their fat, but people approach it the wrong way. They approach it as weight loss, and then they end up hurting themselves more than they benefit. Losing fat, as we just saw, is much harder than losing just weight. And what it requires is careful meal planning so that we can set the right conditions for the body to burn its fat reserves instead of burning anything else. So generally speaking, I am the right weight based on my BMI. But I feel like I have a lot of fat that I can happily part with and even would love to replace it with muscle in order to keep my weight the same or even increase it a little bit. The biggest mistake people make is that they associate their appearance with the number that they see on the scale. You might be okay with the number on the scale, but sometimes you're not okay with what you see in the mirror, and the two are not related. At that point, it's really body fat percentage that comes into play, and it is this fat that people really want to lose. There is a great deal I'm learning about fat loss, and I'm applying it on myself, and as I see results, I share it here. So there's going to be more talk about on this subject in the future vlogs, but today, really briefly, the one thing I want to stress on is that we need to eat the right number of calories that our bodies need so that we don't feel starved. And it's really the small changes that go a long way when it comes to losing fat and maintaining it long term. Replacing high GI foods in our diet, high glycemic index carbs in our diet with proteins and good fats is, I think, the biggest first step all of us can take towards changing our appearances. Speaking of appearances, this is where I would like to jump into our next topic for the day, and that is different body types. Broadly speaking, there are 3 different types of bodies. There are the ectomorphs, there are the endomorphs, and then there are the mesomorphs. The ectomorph is the easiest type to identify. They are the skinny, slender people. They may be short, they don't have to be tall, but they have long, skinny limbs, and they are just very narrow. Now, most people might tend to envy these folks just because they are inherently skinny. Like ectomorphs can probably eat for a small village and still not gain any weight. But on the flip side, they have a very difficult time gaining any muscle mass. And personally, to me, that's not a desirable feature. I used to be skinny and I used to like being skinny, but then I went through this massive change in my outlook where now I am really striving towards, first of all, a fit body. My skin looks healthy, my face has a glow where I don't feel weak or fatigued. And second of all, I really want a lean and toned muscular body. Now the endomorphs are exactly on the other end of the spectrum, and they are the generally stockier people. They also tend to be bottom heavy. Somewhere in the middle of the two are the mesomorphs. And I say in the middle because mesomorphs respond very quickly to diet and activity changes. They can easily go from ectomorphs to endomorphs with lifestyle changes. So how this ties back to our initial topic of weight loss and fat loss. Now all of us, most of us, are striving towards a different appearance than what we have. If you're an ectomorph and you just want to be skinny, then you're good. Eat whatever you want. You can do some light workout like some basic yoga and you're golden. You don't need to do anything else. But if you're an ectomorph who is trying to gain more muscle mass, you fall in the category of people who are trying to change their body composition. And if you are a mesomorph or endomorph, it applies to you as well. I mean, yes, you want to lose some extra weight that you might be carrying, but eventually what you're looking for is changing your body composition. Get rid of some of that extra flab. One way to do it would be to drastically cut your calories and force yourself to become skinny. And trust me, becoming skinny that way is easy. It's just not sustainable and it's not healthy. Health and fitness is my number one message. Your appearance is going to be a consequence of your health and fitness. If you're healthy, if you're fit, you are going to look great, but don't strive towards an appearance blindly. Ultimately, my message today is that we have to accept our bodies the way they are, and we have to love ourselves for who we are. But having said that, there is nothing wrong with trying to be a better version of yourself each day. And if appearance is something that you want to change, then maybe you need to start taking the focus away from just losing weight and shift it to losing fat. So the first step towards losing fat is to eat enough. You cannot deprive your body of food. So eat what your body needs. Don't go eat anything that you crave, but find out your BMR, find out the calories that you need every day and eat at least that much. And secondly, start making small changes. Remove some of the processed food from your diet, remove sugars from your diet, and start replacing those with proteins like more eggs. Or if you're a vegetarian, then look for vegetarian sources of proteins like beans and legumes in general. And some good fat, good healthy fat. So that's all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed this information. If you did, please like this video and share and subscribe. And I will see you next week. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.